So in just the third quarter of 2025 alone, Lyft pulled in $1.69 billion in revenue.
Right, which is just a staggering number.
It's massive. But, what if I told you that the literal million-dollar technological engine driving all that revenue is currently available right off the shelf?
Oh, wow.
Yeah, available to your local airport shuttle service for honestly less than the cost of a used Honda Civic.
I mean, it sounds completely impossible when you frame it like that. We're also conditioned to believe that massive tech platforms require, like, thousands of Silicon Valley engineers.
Working around the clock in a basement somewhere.
Exactly. But the reality of modern software architecture is just completely dismantling that assumption.
It really is. And, well, that is our mission for this deep dive today. We are looking at this fascinating master blueprint from a company called Enatega, and we're unpacking how local businesses are capturing a slice of that massive ride-hailing pie.
Whether that's, a regional startup or maybe a car rental agency looking to modernize.
Right, or even a luxury limousine service. They're all bypassing years of coding by utilizing what's known as a white label lyftcloneapp.
Which is a concept that is entirely reshaping the barrier to entry in the tech world. And what's so compelling about examining this architecture is that it completely changes how you, as a user, interact with the world around you.
Yeah, that's exactly why you, listening right now, should care about this. I mean, even if you have absolutely zero plans to launch your own global taxi empire tomorrow.
Which, most of us don't.
Right. But understanding how these ubiquitous platforms are instantly cloned and packaged, it really pulls back the curtain on the apps you use every single day.
You stop seeing just a flat map with little moving cars on it.
Exactly. You start seeing the massive hidden machinery operating right underneath the glass of your phone.
Okay, let's unpack this concept of a white label clone because, well, it's a term that gets thrown around loosely, and it often carries a pretty negative connotation.
I'll admit, my initial thought was that a clone implied some shady knockoff software stitched together with duct tape.
Right. That is the common misconception. But in enterprise software, a white label solution is a fully developed, highly scalable, and honestly, completely robust piece of architecture.
So it's not a cheap knockoff.
Not at all. It's built to function exactly like a top-tier application processing thousands of concurrent users, but it's delivered entirely unbranded.
The best way I can visualize this, and tell me if this tracks, it's like buying a fully constructed, beautifully furnished house.
Oh, I like that.
Right. The plumbing works perfectly, the electrical grid is wired, the foundation is poured deep. All you have to do as a business owner is paint the exterior in your corporate colors.
Hang your specific pictures on the wall.
Exactly. Stick your logo on the mailbox. It gives you total control over the user experience, but you completely bypass the grueling multi-year development cycle of actually laying those blocks.
What's fascinating here is that that's a highly accurate analogy. The core engineering problems, how to route a car, how to process a credit card securely, how to track live GPS, they've already been solved.
You're just renting the solution.
Yes.
But I do have to challenge the terminology a bit here, the word clone.
Sure.
Because if I'm running a high-end luxury limousine service catering to corporate executives, my clients do not want the exact same interface or vibe as a college student ordering a budget ride at 2 a.m.
No, of course not.
So are they just copying the basic idea of a ride app, or is it literally an exact clone of Lyft?
That is a crucial distinction to make. It is not about copying the visual identity or the specific brand tone. When we talk about a clone in this context, it is about replicating the exact proven workflow.
The underlying algorithm.
Precisely. Enatega's architecture demonstrates that the clone provides the entire life cycle of a ride out of the box, because that sequence of events is universal.
Right. The steps are the same no matter the car.
Exactly. It starts with seamless user registration, then it moves to ride booking, where the algorithm calculates estimated times of arrival and dynamic fare estimates.
Before you even get in the car.
Right. Then the matching algorithm takes over to find the optimal driver based on proximity and traffic data. Once matched, the workflow includes live GPS tracking, in-app navigation, automated cashless payment processing, and finally, the mutual rating system.
So when they say clone, they really mean a proven automated business model.
Yes, one that handles an incredibly complex sequence of events flawlessly.
But getting that seamless magic to actually happen on a smartphone requires realizing that a ride-hailing platform isn't just one app.
No, it's a distributed system.
It's a massive ecosystem. You are essentially operating 3 distinct interconnected platforms that have to communicate with each other in milliseconds.
Right.
Here's where it gets really interesting. I look at it like a restaurant. The passenger app is the dining room menu, and the wait staff, it's what the customer sees and interacts with.
Okay, I follow you.
The driver app is the kitchen line cooks. It's where the actual labor is being managed and executed. But the third piece, the admin panel, that is the expediter standing in the middle of the kitchen.
Oh, that's a perfect way to look at it.
They're controlling the flow of tickets, catching mistakes, adjusting prices on the fly, and making sure the whole operation doesn't collapse under the weight of a Friday night dinner rush.
I love that framework. So let's look at the dining room first, the passenger app. The architecture requires very specific mechanisms here.
Like frictionless onboarding.
Yes, usually through social logins or biometric authentication. Because if a user is standing in the rain, any friction in signing up means they will just download a competitor's app.
They'll just bail. And then it's about algorithmic transparency. The system has to calculate a fair estimate instantly. And that isn't just, distance multiplied by a flat rate.
Far from it. The routing algorithm is factoring in real-time traffic conditions, historical trip data for that specific route at that specific time of day, and current demand multipliers.
And it does all of this computation in the background before the user even taps request.
Exactly.
But the safety mechanisms are what really caught my attention in the blueprint. The architecture includes voice over IP or VoIP integration.
The masking features.
Yeah. It allows the driver and passenger to call or text each other directly through the app without ever exposing their actual phone numbers to one another.
Which is a massive technical hurdle to build from scratch. But it comes standard in these white label architectures.
Unbelievable. Okay, so moving to the kitchen, the driver app. Without this side of the equation, the passenger app is just a useless map showing empty streets.
Very true.
The requirements here are entirely different. It starts with compliance and profile management, where drivers upload specific licensing documents for back-end approval.
But the real genius of the driver app architecture is how it handles behavioral economics.
Behavioral economics? What do you mean?
Well, it isn't just a navigation tool, it is an active management system.
Like gamification, essentially.
Yeah. Exactly. The interface is designed with built-in incentive and bonus tracking. By displaying heat maps of peak hour demand and offering tiered promotions directly in their dashboard, the system is algorithmically nudging independent contractors to stay online during critical high-demand periods.
Wow. So it's managing the labor supply in real time without employing human manager.
Yes, a code is the manager.
Which brings us to the expediter, the admin panel. While the passenger and driver apps get all the public glory, the admin panel is the actual puppet master of this entire operation.
Oh, without a doubt. The admin panel is where a piece of software actually becomes a viable business. It is the centralized command center.
And the sheer volume of data it manages is staggering. It isn't just looking at a map of where cars are.
No, not at all.
The admin dashboard is managing the entire financial structure of the ecosystem. It dictates the base fares, adjusts the per-mile charges based on vehicle class, and triggers those dynamic surge pricing algorithms based on local supply and demand imbalances.
And it has to monitor every single ongoing trip live to ensure safety protocols are met. It allows human support agents to intervene in real time if a trip goes dangerously off-route.
But we have to talk about the fraud detection, because this is where the sophistication of a white label clone really shows its value.
Oh, this is my favorite part.
Think about the last time you ordered a ride from, say, a massive stadium concert and saw surge pricing hitting 3 or 4 times the normal rate.
Painful.
Very painful. And when you have independent contractors and dynamic pricing moving around a city, people are absolutely going to try and game the system.
It is inevitable. And that's why fraud detection algorithms are the unseen heroes of these platforms. The admin panel has to automatically catch fake rider accounts, identify stolen credit cards, and flag repeated trip cancellations.
Because drivers use those cancellations to artificially inflate demand.
Precisely.
And what about manipulated location data? GPS spoofing. Like a driver using third-party software to trick your app into thinking they are sitting right outside that stadium concert, driving up the surge pricing, when in reality they're sitting 3 miles away on their couch.
Yes. To combat that, the back-end architecture can't just passively accept the GPS coordinates the phone sends it. It has to actively cross-reference that data.
How does it do that?
The algorithms are looking for impossible travel speeds, like a phone jumping 2 miles in 3 seconds.
Right, impossible physics.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They look for conflicting Wi-Fi triangulation data or even altitude discrepancies to verify that the driver's physically where their phone claims to be.
That is wild. And because the admin panel is processing that level of complex data from dynamic pricing models down to catching altitude discrepancies in a spoofed GPS signal, building this ecosystem requires a highly specific technological stack.
You certainly cannot build this with basic web development tools.
No, you can't just slap a website together and call it a day.
When you look under the hood of these white label solutions, you see enterprise-grade engineering. For the back end, the brain of the operation, they rely on robust environments like Node.js or Python, which are designed to handle thousands of asynchronous requests simultaneously without crashing.
And the databases have to be incredibly fast.
Right. You are looking at PostgreSQL or MongoDB. They aren't just storing static user profiles. They're constantly writing and overwriting live geospatial data every fraction of a second.
I really want to dig into the real-time aspect of this, because when you open a ride app, you see that little car moving smoothly down the street on your map. How does the clone actually achieve that? Because standard web technology doesn't work like that.
Standard web technology uses HTTP polling, which is essentially like sending a text message. Your phone asks the server, "Where's the car?"
And the server texts back, "It's here."
Right. Then your phone waits a few seconds and asks again. If you use that for a moving vehicle, the car in your map will just visibly jump from one spot to another every 5 seconds.
It looks terrible and it's highly inaccurate.
It's awful. So they use WebSockets or platforms like Firebase. A WebSocket is fundamentally different. It's like a phone call.
Oh, I see.
It opens a persistent, continuous pipeline of data between the driver's phone, the server, and the passenger's phone. That pipeline stays open the entire ride, processing GPS pings multiple times a second.
Which is what gives you that buttery smooth animation of the car taking a left turn in real time.
Yes, exactly.
It is incredible that you can essentially just license that capability now. But I have to challenge the business side of this architecture, specifically the revenue models.
Let's hear it.
When we look at Uber or Lyft, they make money by taking a commission on the ride. A $20 fare, the app takes maybe $5 or $6. But if a local startup uses this clone, relying solely on a 20% ride commission in a smaller regional market might not actually keep the lights on.
No, it probably wouldn't.
So are they locked into that specific revenue model?
Not at all. And this is where the flexibility of owning your own platform comes in. The unit economics of a massive global platform are very different from a niche local operator.
Right.
While ride commissions and dynamic surge pricing are the bedrock, the architecture allows for multiple diverse revenue streams.
Like, what else is there?
If we connect this to the bigger picture, a prime example is a subscription or software as a service model for the drivers.
Wait, I have to push back there.
Sure.
Why would any driver agree to pay a monthly SaaS subscription fee to a local app when they can just drive for Uber for free and only pay a cut when they actually secure a fare? How does a clone account for that friction?
It comes down to guaranteed volume and predictable income for the driver in specific niches.
Okay, give me an example.
Let's say you launch a white label clone specifically for airport runs in a mid-sized city.
Yeah.
You build corporate tie-ups with all the local hotels to exclusively use your app.
Right, so you corner the market.
Exactly. A full-time professional driver might gladly pay you a flat $200 monthly fee for access to that exclusive high-paying clientele because they get to keep 100% of their actual fares.
Oh.
For a power user, that flat fee is far cheaper than giving a global tech giant 30% of every single ride they do all month.
I see. It changes the math completely. You aren't trying to beat Uber at their own game. You are using their technological workflow to dominate a highly specific, profitable niche.
Exactly. You can also integrate in-app advertisements shown to passengers while they're waiting for their ride.
Or charge premium placement fees for local businesses on the map interface.
Yes. You turn on the revenue streams that fit your specific market conditions.
So understanding the tech stack and the revenue potential naturally leads to the execution phase. If a business decides to utilize this architecture, they don't just flip a switch and launch a global platform on day one.
No, that would be catastrophic.
Yeah.
The rollout strategy is just as important as the code. You have to launch with a minimum viable product, an MVP.
We hear MVP constantly in the startup world. It's like building a skateboard before you build a Ferrari, right?
I love that analogy, yes.
But in the context of this specific, highly complex ride-hailing ecosystem, what does an MVP actually look like? Because you can't really compromise on the car arriving.
Right, the car has to arrive. An MVP in this context means stripping away the auxiliary features. No ride-pooling algorithms, no advanced scheduled bookings, no complex tiered loyalty programs.
You just need the core functionality.
You are deploying just the core loop. User sign-up, basic live GPS routing, the matching algorithm, and a secure payment gateway.
It is about risk mitigation. You launch that core loop into your local market, get actual humans to try and break it, gather feedback on where the friction points are, and then you slowly start activating the more complex features that already exist within the white label architecture.
It keeps your initial capital expenditure low and gets you generating revenue and data much faster.
Which brings us to the absolute most important question for any entrepreneur or tech enthusiast looking at this space.
Right.
What is the actual price tag?
Always the million-dollar question.
Literally. Because we are talking about enterprise-grade databases, WebSockets, and 3 interconnected platforms. So what does this all mean? Let's look at the numbers.
Let's do it.
Based on current industry estimates from the blueprint for these architectures, a basic MVP rollout will run between $5,000 and $30,000.
Right.
A mid-level deployment, which starts activating features like ride history, in-app VoIP calling, and a polished user interface, jumps to $30,000 to $80,000. And a fully advanced, highly scalable custom application hits $90,000 to $150,000 or more.
Those numbers represent a massive shift in capital requirements for tech startups.
But I am still struck by the incredible variance, though. I mean, how can the same fundamental idea connecting a rider and a driver via GPS cost $5,000 on the low end and north of $150,000 on the high end?
This is a huge gap.
What is driving a $145,000 gap?
It is a critical question, and it comes down to a few massive variables in how you choose to deploy the architecture. First and foremost is your platform choice regarding mobile development.
Cross-platform versus native development, right?
Exactly. If you choose a cross-platform framework like React Native or Flutter, you have one single engineering team writing one unified code base.
And that code works everywhere.
Right. That code is then translated to work on both Apple iOS and Google Android devices simultaneously. It is significantly cheaper and much faster to deploy and maintain.
But there is a trade-off.
Yes. Cross-platform apps can sometimes feel slightly less responsive or lack that absolute buttery smooth polish of an app built specifically for one device.
So if you demand a native app, meaning it is optimized perfectly for the hardware, what happens?
You are literally forced to hire two completely separate engineering teams.
Oh, wow.
One team writes in Swift for Apple, a completely different team writes in Kotlin for Android. You are maintaining two distinct code bases, running two separate quality assurance pipelines, and tracking bugs across two entirely different systems.
You have effectively doubled your payroll overnight just to get that premium screen transition.
Yes, that explains a massive chunk of that price gap.
What else?
The UI and UX complexity. If you are willing to use the pre-built templated interfaces that come with a white label clone, your costs remain low.
But if you want to be flashy.
Exactly. If you want bespoke, custom-designed animations, highly branded mapping integrations, and unique user flows tailored to your luxury brand, you are paying premium rates for specialized front-end designers to rewrite that visual layer.
And I imagine geography plays a major role in the labor costs of whoever is doing that customizing.
It is arguably the biggest variable. Where your development and deployment team is physically located changes the math drastically.
Sure, California versus somewhere else.
Right. Hiring engineers in North America or Western Europe commands premium hourly rates. However, utilizing established tech hubs in regions like South Asia, Eastern Europe, or Latin America can reduce those labor costs by up to 70% while still delivering enterprise-grade deployment.
And that is exactly where companies like Enatega fit into the ecosystem. They have already built the native and cross-platform architectures, they have already solved the WebSocket real-time data problems, and they offer these ready-made clones.
Often with live demos you can test for free.
It serves as a massive shortcut, allowing a business to buy the completed, stress-tested architecture rather than paying hourly labor rates to reinvent the wheel.
It is a profound shift in how software scales.
It really is. So to summarize what we've unpacked today, The white label clone essentially democratizes the upper echelons of the tech industry.
It really does.
It takes an unbelievably complex ecosystem, a passenger interface, a gamified driver app, and a robust admin panel handling real-time GPS spoofing, surge pricing, and immediate payment processing, and it packages it into a customizable, off-the-shelf solution.
Saving years of headaches.
It saves businesses years of engineering failures and hundreds of thousands of dollars. It allows a local entrepreneur in a mid-sized city to offer the exact same technological sophistication as a multi-billion-dollar tech giant.
It completely levels the playing field in terms of infrastructure. And I hope for you, the listener, the next time you open a ride-hailing app or a food delivery app, or really any platform that connects the physical world to the digital one, you look past the simplistic map interface.
Right.
Take a moment to recognize the massive three-tiered technological machine working furiously in the background, communicating in milliseconds to match you, track you, route you, and protect the financial integrity of the system.
It's basically an infrastructural miracle sitting right in your pocket.
It truly is.
Uh-huh.
But looking at how accessible this miracle has become, this raises an important question, one that we haven't touched on yet, but naturally follows this entire evolution of software.
Ooh, I love these. Lay it on us.
If anyone, a local taxi fleet, an ambitious airport shuttle service, a brand new startup, can essentially purchase a multi-million-dollar technological infrastructure off the shelf, rebrand it, and launch it into their market for the price of a mid-sized sedan. What does the actual future of business look like?
Wait, what do you mean?
Well, for the last 20 years, having the best technology was the ultimate competitive advantage. It was the moat that protected your business.
Sure.
But when the technology itself is commoditized, when complex software is no longer the barrier to entry, what differentiates you from your competitor? Does success in the future rely entirely on who has the best local marketing, the deepest community relationships, and the absolute highest standard of human customer service?
Wow, that changes the entire paradigm. If everyone on the starting line is handed the exact same Ferrari, the race isn't about the engineering anymore. It just comes down to who is the better driver.
Exactly. When the tech is solved, the human element becomes your only true advantage.
That is an incredibly provocative thought to leave off on. You have to win on the human element because the code is already written. Well, thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive. We hope this pulled back the curtain on the technology you interact with every single day. And as always, keep questioning the systems working quietly in the world around you.